The thing about most camera gimbals is that they are usually heavy, expensive, and the smaller ones, they can't handle a great payload. So what we have here is the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S, which they kind of call it the little giant here, because this small little thing here, without the camera itself, it weighs a mere 1 kilograms of weight, which is extremely portable if you want to put it into your bag and go for a travel trip and shoot great videos on a DSLR or mirrorless camera. But the most important selling point is that it could actually fit a mirrorless camera with a heavy lens. Now, one of the examples that Zhiyun has quoted is like the Sony A7 III with a 28-70mm G Master lens. That is actually a really heavy lens, so they didn't actually specify the payload for this as well, but you know what? It's pretty impressive for such a small gimbal. So I've been using the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S on and off. I'm not actually a pretty frequent gimbal user, but I've actually enjoyed using the WEEBILL-S for a couple of months already, and I'm here to share my thoughts on why I would recommend the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S for everyone who wants to first start off with a professional camera gimbal. Now, the WEEBILL-S is actually a really simple gimbal to set up. Like most 3-axis gimbals, you will need to balance the camera on it by moving the plates all around, and I've basically done it with my A6500 with a 18-105G lens. Now, this is a pretty heavy lens, and the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S can definitely handle it. So for a list of compatible lenses and cameras, I've actually linked a PDF file in the description so that you can go check it out before you buy the WEEBILL-S. Alright, so let me just talk about a couple of hardware that I actually like here. So you do actually get the axis locks over here with this red switch. So there's 3 of them. One is on the top here, you can see. One is on the top, and the other one is at the bottom here. And last but not the least, this one. So there's a total of 3 locks that you can do to lock the gimbal's axis so that it doesn't kind of like flip over when you put it in your bag. In Cantonese, we call it like feng lei feng hui, you know. So that's actually a good thing that Zhiyun has actually done here. Now, there are USB connectors here. So on the front, you get a USB-C port, and on the back here, you get a micro USB port. So they are not meant for charging, but they are connectors to your camera's USB interface. So for my A6500, I actually use the micro USB connector to the micro USB connector to control the camera. And there's actually a multi adapter to micro USB adapter that you can also use to kind of control the camera as well. So one thing I actually like the WEEBILL-S is that the controls are actually pretty great here. So you do get a joystick to control the gimbal's movements, and this is a wheel, and there's an LCD display here. Probably let me just turn on the gimbal right now. Okay, so there you go. There's a little LCD right there. Now, this is something that you don't find on DJI's Ronin SC, which is the direct competitor to the WEEBILL-S. So this monitor here actually allows you to change settings. Like for example, you can actually change the motor, how do you want the raw and yaw pitch to be, what levels do you want it to be. And you can also change some advanced settings like speed, the smoothness, the deadband. Everything can be configured here without using the app. Whereas as compared to the DJI Ronin SC, you do need to use DJI's Ronin app to change all that settings, but this one, you can totally do it with this little LCD screen here. And the good thing is that this LCD is actually very readable under sunlight, so it's good for those videographers who are shooting under strong sunlight. You don't actually need to open up your phone and change all the settings on your phone. So you do get a couple of buttons here. So when you press on the function button, it actually goes into it actually kind of like fixes the gimbal at a position. There's also this button on the back here that doesn't change the, the tip position of the gimbal. This is how it looks like. And finally, you do get a record button here where it controls the camera. You don't need to like press on the camera record button if you want to do so, because I do see most videographers pressing the button here because this button usually doesn't work on their cameras, but yes, it actually works on this one. So you have this POV button here. Now, by all means, you would know that POV means point of view. So which means the gimbal's movement will move as according to what you see. So let's say if you go straight, it will go straight. If you just tilt down, it wouldn't pan too much, but it will still follow according to your vision, right? So as you double tap on it, it actually turns into vortex mode, which you can do that barrel style kind of shooting that's really cinematic. And look at this. This is how great the WEEBILL-S can handle a heavy lens like this. It's actually pretty good. But if it's not balanced, it will actually kind of fall down. But since this is balanced, it will stay that way. Now, if you want to switch back to the usual shooting mode, you can actually just tap one time and it goes back to POV. And if you press again, it actually goes to point follow. So when you go point follow, it actually, the gimbal will actually just goes according to the movement that you want to. See, it actually pans up and down. It's a very natural movement. And one thing that you will realize with the WEEBILL-S is that the motor actually moves very naturally as a pan shot or a tilting shot. It's so natural that you don't usually find it on those cheaper gimbals. Okay, the WEEBILL-S features 3 1/4 thread holes. So the good thing about it is that you can actually choose different shooting modes and do expansion. And one of it is being used by this tripod grip right here. This is actually a tripod, by the way. So if you just close it, it becomes a grip for you. It's really comfortable. This is a ladder wrap grip that actually feels very nice to hold on to. But one way of using this is that you can take it off and you can just put it on the top just like this. So it will go into this underslung mode where it really works for low angle shots. So once you do this, you are going to be able to do very low angle shots just like this really comfortably, and it feels great to just hold the gimbal in this way. It's going to be really comfortable and you can just run and as if nothing happens, and the video is stabilized at the same time. Now, before we get to the video sample part of this video, I'm going to show you a little bit about the ZPlay app that is available as a free download on iOS and Android. So once you are in this app, it will show you this Zhiyun WEEBILL-S interface. Of course, you can choose between other devices if you have other Zhiyun devices as well. So since we have the WEEBILL-S, I'm just going to tap on Connect Now and I'm going to tap Enter Now. So there we go. So this is how the interface looks like, and it actually looks pretty blank because I do not have the image transmission module, which is technically a wireless image transmission module that can transmit my camera's footage over to my phone screen. That's actually a pretty useful tool, which unfortunately I did not get in my review sample. But if you're serious in getting the WEEBILL-S, I do highly recommend that you get the wireless image transmission module to have it shown on your phone, because this is going to be where the image is going to be. And you basically get a couple of controls here. You get the record button, you can tilt the gimbal as you want to. Look, as I move, that it goes like this. And this is where you can do the virtual joystick. So the idea of using this app is that you can actually mount your phone on the side of the gimbal. So as you are shooting, you can actually see the footage as well, and also do some controls on your phone if you want to, if you find that the controls on the gimbal itself is not convenient. Right? You do also get your camera controls such as zoom. If your camera lens happens to support power zoom, there are several lenses that the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S can actually support that will enable power zoom. And there are also a couple of features that I would like to show you. So let's do this sync motion. So this is one cool feature. So we have the gimbal right here. So imagine that if you have the wireless image transmission module, you have a big monitor down there and you have a videographer taking on the WEEBILL-S, and you as the director, you just want to see your own angle. So which is why you have your phone and you just simply turn it around. Once you turn it on, look, as I tilt my phone, it goes into a landscape, and if I tilt it up, see, it actually syncs your phone's motion. And that's actually pretty sick. And you can actually control your smoothness, like how smooth do you want your pan, tilt, and roll axis to be. You can all configure it right here. But you get the idea. This is how fun the WEEBILL-S can actually be. The Zhiyun WEEBILL-S retails at 1,599 ringgit in Malaysia and is officially distributed by Pixel's Distribution Sdn Bhd, the official Zhiyun distributor in Malaysia. And when you register with them, you do actually get extended warranty for this thing. So that's actually a good thing. Don't go buy grey imports because you don't get that kind of benefit and service. So at this point of time, I do also find that there are Lazada sellers that are retailing this for about 1,449 ringgit. Now, that's actually a pretty decent price if you're considering to own your first mirrorless camera gimbal. And this is a good one to start with because it's not heavy, it's not expensive, and it's strong as well if you want to use it for your future projects or if you want to put on heavier lenses on this thing. So that's pretty much on my review of the Zhiyun WEEBILL-S after using for about 2 months plus. So stay tuned for more videos over at KLGadgetTV. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, you can also join the official Zhiyun WEEBILL-S community, which I'll leave the link in the description. So do go on over there to learn more tips from the pros over there, which they are obviously more pro than me. So yeah, that's pretty much for today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see you in the next one.